In a way, I feel like Todd and the team are kind of like, I don't know, that MMO money kind of looks nice. Diablo 4, it's this fusing of the single player RPG becoming online. Back in 2006, Bethesda and Microsoft invested heavily in bringing their RPGs online. Oblivion's introduction of microtransactions into the RPG equation led to Bethesda receiving some PR heat in 2006 for selling their now infamous horse armor on Xbox Live Marketplace. So zooming out 18 years later, the topic of horse armor is even more relevant now than it was then. With 25 million players and an ever-growing catalog of games, Bethesda's become a pillar of game development and IP stewardship under the Microsoft banner. In fact, you can even see this in the indie space where they're kind of taking a page out of Bethesda's book with smaller dev teams pushing out a steady stream of content updates, DLC drops, and collaborations. So at the AAA scale, the RPG as a platform tends to create these forever games. Bethesda's titles also embrace the more traditional concept of post-launch expansions, but that strategy has shifted over the years into a focus on maximizing post-launch support of all Bethesda titles.
For millions of players, Skyrim has been a comforting world to revisit over the past decade. And if you're like me, you're gonna probably be so stoked to see the game still receiving continued support by Bethesda and its modding community. With the mod scene and now creation, Skyrim is treated primarily as a content platform. If you're eager to move on from Skyrim, you might be happy to hear that the main team, being led by God Howard, our beloved Todd Howard, has its current focus turned toward the development of the next installment in the Elder Scrolls franchise. In this episode of Tactically Sound, Spencer and I are going to take stock of Microsoft and Bethesda's creative and business partnership and look across each of their portfolios to see how RPG gaming has evolved since 2006.
Did you ever download anything off of Xbox Live Marketplace?
I can't remember on the 360 if I did or not. I probably not because I was so broke.
What is the first microtransaction you could remember buying?
The very first microtransaction I've ever bought was this online game called Gaia Online, where they would have monthly releases of special like clothing items that you could wear, gear on your character. It'd be like $5 like every month for like the news, I guess, gear or collectibles, right?
Wow, so young Jumbie was integrated into the metaverse early. You were plugged into the Matrix.
Oh yeah,
early on.
Oh yeah, but the first actual like game had to be like Skyrim Creation Club, where I actually finally bought something through a video game instead of just MMO on the computer, if that makes sense. But I always have tried to steer clear of microtransactions, especially since I bought so many as a kid through my parents, and I don't play those games anymore, right? And so I'm like, oh gosh, I got my parents to buy so many of these like collectibles on this game, and that's probably all gone now, you know? I want to know that I'm going to be playing this game long term, and I think Skyrim has become one of those games for me.
In an interview this year, Todd Howard told Maddie of Mr. Maddie Plays that he wishes Bethesda had supported games like Fallout 4 and Skyrim longer. It's the 6th anniversary of them releasing the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6, and while the team takes its time focusing on the development of the main installment, they're revisiting ways to keep Skyrim alive. So Bethesda has made a big push to extend Skyrim's lifespan through their integration of a new service called Creations, and Skyrim has officially made the crossover from traditional offline RPG single-player games to a platform marketplace, and in a way, it has been a platform for the unofficial work of Bethesda's modding community to kind of, exist. So the platform has evolved into an official digital store and mod installer marketplace created by Bethesda called Creations. And Creations allows Bethesda to take a cut of the sales while also driving more attention to its player base through handling the marketing as they see fit. The Creations platform was added to Skyrim in December of 2023, and now that marketplace is being added to Starfield. So let's unpack how this 13-year-old game is finding new ways to monetize mods, implement updates from the community, and create a buzz around a game that originally launched, I believe, in 2011.
Skyrim is still receiving updates, or at least popular mods are being added to the paid Creations store. I've totally bought from the store. Pretty cool. Here's what Bethesda had to say in their announcement. The community surrounding Bethesda Game Studios games brings unique tales and exciting journeys through the worlds of Skyrim and Starfield. Find your next adventure, discover new stories, meet companions, all via creations available in-game.
With the piece of Jumbie history you told me, you were like, I'm out of the MMO game. I'm out of like purchasing these digital assets that I can't keep. But in a way, I feel like Todd and the team are kind of like, I don't know, that MMO money kind of looks nice. Diablo IV, it's this fusing of the single player RPG becoming online, becoming a marketplace. It's like adult Roblox in a way, right? And I've been out of this game, right? I'm like the vanilla Bethesda player. I love DLC expansions though. So I'm not immune to spending money post-launch. But the idea of mods becoming DLC is still something that I'm getting comfortable with. And as a creative myself, like I think it's really cool that modders are getting a bigger platform. But I also understand if you're someone who's been modding all this time and now you're seeing old mods being sold to you by Bethesda, you could kind of feel like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. I want to support the modders, but I also kind of feel like this is old content being repackaged as new content. So they have 4 DLC mods that they're promoting as creations right now for Skyrim. Clockwork, which is like a really old mod, Carved Brink, Siren Root, Deluge of Deceit, and Echoes of the Veil. So there's kind of like this back catalog. There's been like mods that you could have downloaded in the past that are now kind of being ushered into this creation platform. And I think Bethesda's trying to bolster it. And you and I are both really excited about one mod in particular. It's also a creation. So it is the Bards College mod. It's called Bards College Expansion, which I love because I love the word expansion because it calls back to when you would go in a store and see like a box for an expansion, or you would see like the new, Ultimate Edition, and you read on the back, it's like, it includes Dawnguard, and it includes this, and you're just like, oh, that's so sick. I don't know why expansions make me so excited, but I like that they're marketing it as an expansion. And so this trailer dropped 2 weeks ago, so you and I are going to watch it, and I'll play the footage for the audience. I think it looks amazing, and I love how it looks like real Skyrim. Like, it doesn't feel like an offshoot.
And I've been playing through vanilla Skyrim. I was telling you about when we were going through Oblivion, and it's actually still holds up pretty well. It's pretty good. It has that great old Norse feel. I always wanted to be a bard, and now I can finally be one. Yes, it totally fits with Dragonborn too, with the voice, the flute.
Yeah, I love the art design is so good. Like just so like good. the aesthetic, and I think that's another reason why there's a desire to popularize Skyrim, and I think it's similar to the success of a game like World of Warcraft, where you're not committed to this high fidelity graphic competition that Sony finds itself in often. It's more of that Nintendo mentality of like sustaining IPs every generation, right? And not being bogged down by the expectation of the consumer being like, we need ultra realistic graphics.
That race has totally calmed down, Spencer, of like, we got to make the most AAA looking game. We've recently seen Ubisoft drop a potential quadruple A game. People are disappointed, and a bunch of people are going back to old games.
So let's read a little bit of this copy, because I do want to be able to give the audience, in case you guys are thinking if you should spend your money on this. Let's see from the devs themselves what this is. So they say, master the arts, and the 9 holds will sing of your deeds for ages to come. After a long absence from Skyrim, the Archbard Sledrig and an entourage of teachers and students have returned to Solitude, ready to share their knowledge and skills. New major faction storyline, fully featured and professionally voice acted quests showcase a greatly expanded institution of the Bards College to match the scale and intrigue of the other factions in Skyrim.
Wow.
So it's really cool. I do hope that it's like doesn't break your achievements. That's like my big beef with a paid mods. Creation is like it should still integrate with your achievements. And so I think this has original voice actors from Skyrim. Which,
it does, which is great because, like, you know, when you're playing vanilla Skyrim and you're a fan of vanilla Skyrim, sometimes adding mods breaks your immersion. And so I really love this careful attention that Bethesda's giving the mods, and kind of giving their stamp of approval, like, hey, this mod will fit in with what we made. So if you like the sort of experience that we created, this could be a good fit for you.
Yeah, I'm curious how much it costs, because that's an interesting value proposition. I know, to kind of tie in Starfield into the conversation, Starfield got some heat because they made something, I forget what the credits are, let's call it 7,000 credits. The way Todd Howard phrased it is like, you know, we designed a weapon and we designed some armor. And we thought, oh, how do we make this more valuable? Let's throw in a quest line. But the problem is they tied it to a faction quest line, and every time that faction creates a new quest, I think you need to pay more money. So he was like, we kind of had the unintended effect, which I don't know if that's true or not, but he said we had the unintended effect of breaking out a faction quest line into paid quests. And that kind of pissed off players. So I think this is the way to do it, calling it an expansion. And it's big, it's detailed. You're not going to be paying to extend this faction quest line. Like that seems not fun. Like for me, I don't want to like bust out my credit card.
Yeah, you held out on me the whole game. I want to feel, when I have my initial purchase of a video game, I want to feel like I'm getting the whole experience, the whole game, and anything additional to that, right? Sell it to me as this is not part of the base game. Sell it to me as this is an addition. This is the cherry on top. This is for people who really liked the full experience that we initially had for you. And we now want to give you more because we want to build on this either IP, this intellectual property, or even make more games that follow suit and give the players what they really want.
I do think we should touch on Starfield. Matt, you're gearing up. You're a PlayStation 5 player. You also have PC, though.
Yes.
You haven't jumped into Starfield. Would you have jumped into Starfield without the DLC update, or is this like update stream and marketing pushing you?
I am definitely a lot more curious. As they are working on updating the game, adding more content to it, I recognize what happened with Fallout and Skyrim for me. I ended up liking the games a bit more. And so totally, the expansion, the DLC is definitely more incentive for me to try it out.
So the idea behind Shattered Space is Todd was telling Maddie that it's a story expander, and they would like to do these yearly. It's not, he's not committing to yearly, but that's the idea. There's going to be one more, and he wants to put you on a specific planet that's kind of got a specific city and a specific story, like Fallout 4 Far Harbor, which I haven't played, but I do like Fallout 3's Point Lookout, and it's kind of similar. It's like this eerie story expansion that has a very unique personality. And he was saying to Maddie, he was like, what's cool about Starfield is space, so we can naturally do these things with the narrative that feel real to the world, but kind of set each other apart.
I see.
So it's like speaking to that expansion,
right?
You know, world. It's going to be, so it's a new story expansion. It is a mysterious power stirs in the city of Dazra on House Varun. So House Varun is kind of like your Dark Brotherhood faction.
Okay.
So
cool.
Or like your Daedric faction. So picture it like it's going to be on like a Daedric planet for the Elder Scrolls player. Investigate a frightening cosmic threat, explore a new planet, and find unique weapons, spacesuits, and gear in this all new adventure. It also reminds me a bit. There's a Fallout New Vegas expansion where they go to the Sierra Madre, Dead Money, where it's kind of got this like haunted kind of neon reds and this very spooky feel.
Right.
And they say when a distress signal from a derelict star station sparks a journey to Varunkai, the veil of secrecy surrounding the worshippers of a deity known as the Great Serpent is finally lifted. Immerse yourself in the dark and complex world of House Varun as you navigate a tense political landscape, uncover the history of the Varun people, and help decide the fate of the faction in the wake of the cataclysmic event. So in a way, the concept of this video, the constant content stream, it's working on Matt. Is that correct, Matt?
It is. It really is. And I think even just their throughout all the negative criticism that they had, or in some regards constructive criticism, this kind of feels like what I wished I had more as a kid. If I really loved a game and I beat it, I always was struggling, waiting for the second game, or wondering if they were going to make a second game. And if I had the security that Bethesda is starting to offer their fans, that, hey, we're going to get some expansions, we're going to get some mods, some new DLC, and if this is all going to be laid out over an extensive, long period of time, that would have been so nice to hear and comforting and exciting as a kid.
Right. Yeah. And another, because Maddie and a lot of Bethesda and Xbox commenters and analysts are always wondering, like, why not do like a spin-off? Like Maddie suggested a Dark Brotherhood spin-off. A lot of people have suggested, Fallout New Vegas 2. Mm-hmm. And Todd's answer to that was essentially, well, why not just tell that story inside of Elder Scrolls Online? Or, oh, you want a spin-off? Is there a way we could put that in Fallout 76? Is there a way that could be DLC for Fallout 4? One of our existing platforms that our teams are already working on. Basically, not spreading the team so thin that every time there's an idea for a smaller story, that now you have to contract an indie developer, or now you have to partner with another big AAA studio to tell the small story. It's like, how do we just feed that content into our platforms? So it's an interesting model. I think there's pros and cons. I think largely it's mostly pros, but I think it just depends on the content and the value that players get. And are they able to pull in players like you who are like watching at a distance at the new IP, being like, I don't know if I need to play this IP right now?
I feel like there needs to be a little bit of a price check and a value check for it. Because when I do look at these things, it feels like I am paying a premium for it. And if I was a really diehard fan, that premium wouldn't matter totally. And so as long as there's that market who really will see that that's what I will pay for it, I think that's appropriate. But I'm definitely not on that market where like Skyrim's not the only game that I absolutely love to play. And yeah, I do measure the value that I will have if I buy something from them.
Yeah, I think that games like Vampire Survivors and Dead Cells, like the indie space has figured that out great. It's like you could spend, $14.99 and get the full base game, and then maybe spend another $4.99 and get a great expansion. And I think that's a good value proposition because you're supporting the indie developers. Hopefully the market will resolve itself. And if they get someone like me who never pays for mods or DLCs just because I'm used to the expansion, like I pay for DLCs, but I don't pay for like the smaller DLCs, the like, oh, this adds a new armor suit. Like that doesn't hook me in.
Like but Blood and Wine Witcher 3, right?
Yes, I love that. That's something I would totally pay for, usually all on disc, like complete edition. Yeah. But if they hook me in with this Bards College expansion, I think they're getting that old school style RPG player to buy into this new ecosystem. So we'll see how it all develops, but I think we'll leave it there for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you are hopping into Skyrim again or Starfield for the first time, let us know your thoughts and tell us, were you there for the Horse Armor days? And Matt, tell them where to follow you.
You can follow me at Jumby Jumbwa on YouTube or Instagram, JUMBY I'll see you guys there.
And yeah, you guys could subscribe here to the Yeti Den, and we will see you guys next time. Later. Bye.